Welcome to my video. I want to talk about the health problems I've had in the past and how I've overcome them. In 1980, I had to move back home to my parents' house because my health problems were too numerous and I was just miserable and I wanted to figure things out, and the doctors were of no help at all. So I went to the health food store, started picking out books to read and get educated. I figured for every problem there's a solution, and I'm going to find them. This is a list of the health problems I had: joint pain, back pain, chronic fatigue syndrome, candida overgrowth, and hypoglycemia. All those together were just too much. I was just struggling every day just to get through the day. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. I got to figure this out, get my health back on track. I was only 23 years old. I'm like, this is no way for a 23-year-old to live. So for the first problem, I was fortunate enough to come across this book called A Doctor's Home Cure for Arthritis. There are a few doctors that have a conscience and a soul and a brain to figure out that the natural way is the way to go and not taking synthetic drugs. In his book, he talked about avoiding foods that contribute to arthritis, avoiding foods that cause minor or major inflammations in your body, which we interpret as allergies. And he talked about colon cleansing, because when the body's, let's say, dirty, toxic, the symptoms very often are joint and muscle aches. So it's very important to get on the right diet, get away from junk food, and cleanse the colon. We've junked the colon up with all this artificial food we've been eating, all these fried foods, etc. So very important. And it did the job for me. The next thing that I took care of was the back pain, and I went to a chiropractor. You know, we're brainwashed into thinking that all alternative medicine is a scam, is a lie, and that the conventional medical system is the way to go because it's got the $1 million machines, etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. It's big business. That's what it is. And it's not about curing people. It's about making money. So the chiropractors have been fighting the AMA for over 100 years. They've taken them to court and won time and time again, because chiropractic offers a very important remedy to the human body, and that is bringing the spinal column back into alignment, because that affects all the nerves that go through that area. And as far as fibromyalgia, I took an herbal tea. I used infrared. I did sunbathing and something else. Anyway, I talk about it all on this page that I made on my website. The chiropractic, of course, and the treatments for the fibromyalgia took care of the back pain. Next thing was chronic fatigue syndrome. Just a few months before, I had started with my first girlfriend, and soon after our first kiss, I started to have the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome, which is excessive tiredness without a reason, feeling a little bit of temperature. The most common way to describe chronic fatigue syndrome is like having a minor flu all the time, day in, day out, year in, year out. It's just relentless. It took me 16 years to find this. 16 bloody years, trying all the different bottoms, all the different therapies, mind over matter, all this new age crap. I found that this is a suppressed therapy that was one of the most successful therapies right at the turn of the century. And then Rockefeller had his under-the-table deal with the government, and they blackballed any medical school that continued to teach electromedicine. And that was the death of electromedicine and the start of the pharmaceutical industry focusing on antibiotics. So after 2 months of treating my blood with very minute amounts of electricity, not even enough to feel, the virus was eradicated from my body. And most chronic fatigue syndrome, well, I don't know if it's most, I would guess at probably a little bit more than half of chronic fatigue syndrome cases are caused by virus. The other half is caused by toxicity. Another name it goes by is chronic fatigue immune dysfunction syndrome, which is the abbreviation right here. And I think in England they call it myalgic encephalomyelitis. I just call it chronic fatigue syndrome. So this is a device that I sell now. After I got well, I realized it took me 16 years to find this, so obviously it's excessively hidden, suppressed, let's say. And so I started my business making and selling electromedicine devices. I figured there's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people in the U.S. that have chronic fatigue syndrome. And this is what they need. This is what they need. Highly recommended. Not a scam, not BS, 100% proven. Next thing is Candida intestinal overgrowth. When your abdominal area, where your intestines are, gets, let's say, inflated after every time you eat something sweet, that's a sign that the sugar's feeding the candida, and they're multiplying like crazy and producing gas. And so I tried the candida diet. I tried anti-candida herbs. I almost went so far as to try the drugs, but I've read too much about them. They're not a good solution, and they're not very bio-friendly. So I found a solution in the electromedicine world. I found this paper doing a study on an electromedicine device called the MedicZap and its effect on candida. They show the electronic output of the device, and they show the reduction of candida in the laboratory on application of the device. So yeah, it was a solid proven idea. So I took that information, being an electronic technician, and I made my own device and tried it on myself, and it worked. It works very rapidly also. So rapidly you have to be careful not to use it too long, because you can get too much die-off. Because when you kill any microbe in the body, it changes from being a living thing into being trash in your body. So I sell the Candida Zapper, and it works very good. Last but not least, I had hypoglycemia. And that's something that's brought on by stress and too much sugar. Of course, when you're in stressful situations, you usually eat sweet things. So I had to learn to live without sugar. I had to eat smaller meals more frequently. I had to make sure I got enough protein in my diet. And I had to stay away from the simple carbohydrates and lean towards the complex carbohydrates, such as beans, vegetables, potatoes, especially sweet potatoes, whole grains. Stay away from rice, stay away from anything made with wheat flour. Not 100%, but I mean just reduce it. So there you have it. Yeah, that was my list, and these are my solutions. And what happened is, little by little, I became stronger and stronger, healthier and healthier, as a result of getting the monkeys off my back. And 27 years later, I was racing motocross in Paraguay. And that's me with my second place trophy. And yeah, I was doing better than most of the young guys there. I'm 67 now. I run on the beach. I can play basketball. I can swim. I can play tennis. So, these people that are anti-alternative medicine, they can just laugh at themselves in the mirror, because I'm living proof that alternative medicine works. I never see a doctor. Almost never. If I have a problem, I look for the solution myself. And usually it's better than what the doctors will offer. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching.